Welcome to Coffee with Viking. I am Mike. Cheers. The first Bible burning. Jeremiah 36, 27 through 28. After the king had burned the scroll on which Baruch had written Jeremiah's words, the Lord gave Jeremiah another message. He said, "Get another scroll and write everything again." Baruch is a scribe, a secretary with clout. He's one of relatively few people in the Jewish nation who can read and write. And he makes his living from it. Folks hired scribes when they needed to put something in writing, such as a contract or a bill of sale. Baruch recorded Jeremiah's prophecy on a long strip of leather rolled up into a scribe. In 605 BC, after about 22 years of ministry, Jeremiah dictates his prophecies to Baruch. This is during the 4th year of Jehoiakim's reign. That's the year Babylon will make its first of 3 invasions into Judah and will force Jehoiakim to start paying annual taxes to the empire. It apparently takes about a year to finish the scroll. With the writing done, Jeremiah tells Baruch to read the scroll to worshipers who gather at the Jerusalem temple for the next day of fasting held sometime in November or December of 604 BC. Afterward, palace officials invite Baruch for a private reading. Shocked by what they hear, the officials report to King Jehoiakim. One of the officials reads it to the king, who is keeping warm beside a fire in the palace. Each time the official finished reading about 3 or 4 columns, the king took a knife and cut off that section of the roll. He then threw it into the fire section by section until the whole scroll was burned up. At God's instruction, Jeremiah dictates a new roll, adding more material, including an ominous message for the king. He will have no heirs to sit on the throne of David. King Jehoiakim dies 6 years later in 598 BC, shortly after deciding to withhold taxes from Babylon. By the time the Babylonian army arrives, the king's son, Jehoiachin, has ruled for only 3 months. He surrenders and is promptly replaced with a king of Babylon's choosing. Then Jehoiachin is taken to Babylon as a political prisoner, but he is treated well there, allowed to dine in the king's presence for the rest of his life. Second Kings 25:29. And changed his prison garments, and he did eat bread continually before him all the days of his life. Now, this is what happens when not only you refuse to listen to the Lord, but yet you insult him and mock him by burning his own words. The king Jehoiakim lost his reign and his life, and he had no other heirs. Now Jehoiachin, who gave up the throne, which wound up being a wise choice as we read, because he wound up being treated very well while being a political prisoner in Babylon. Now, that goes to show us that not all the time will our enemies be against us completely. Sometimes God will protect us in the presence of our enemies, like he did Jehoiachin, who willingly gave up the throne and wound up going to Babylon. But his dad made the foolish decision of doing the very first Bible burning, which led him down to dying with nothing. He wound up living as a tyrant and died as one, whereas his son, the one that only took his place on the throne for a short while, didn't live as a tyrant, and you see how they treated him. So it just goes to show that when we let God lead us, and when we don't treat others like we're better than them, or mock God, that God will take care of us even in a situation that could become so much worse. He is always looking out for us. So we need to trust in the Lord, because he knows what he's doing, and he will look over us. He will protect us. Stay blessed. Stay caffeinated. Much love.